Alright, so we're going to make a brand new scene here for this complex node. And what I want to tell you is there's a thing called a far clip plane. Okay? And the far clip plane states that at one point things start to disappear. And you notice mine's not disappearing at all. So what you're going to have to do to set up this scene is go into Window Outliner and go into your perspective camera and make sure you set the far clip plane. That's located under the first tab here in the attribute editor. So one of the attributes of the camera is a far clip plane. Change it to 10,000. Okay. And then make a new camera. And that's under rendering. So all you do is make a new camera and make sure that new camera is only set to 1,000. All right. Good. Now, what I want to do here is this camera, it's so big, and I bet yours is really small if you're following along with this, is because I upscaled it to 10. The scene is really big, and for one reason, because I'm going to use the full power of the far clipping plane to actually trigger the depth of field. Okay, so we're going to make everything a little bigger than normal. So polygons, let's start out by making a box and taking that box and turn it into 1,000. And that's going to be huge, as you can see. But what I really want to do is make a really thin box, just like that. And then we're going to take that box and set it right about here, a little bit further. What I want to do is get past the actual axes of this right here, this grid. So if I hit 6 on the keyboard, I have this big giant plane and this little tiny camera. Alright, next we need another box, and this box is going to go over here. That box is going to be 1,000 by 1,000 by 500. Good. So this is your stage. Next we need some articles out here to kind of look at. So I'm going to make some of these little nodes, these little polygon cones, and let's see how big they need to be. About 30. Okay. So I'm going to set these cones off into random increments around the background so they have different depths. There we go. And let's jump into the camera. And incidentally, what I want to really do is take this camera and make sure I don't mess it up. Is I'm going to go down here and hit S on the timeline. And what that does is now I can move the camera, and if I do move the camera, I can go like that and reposition it just by going on the timeline. I'm going to jump in the camera and make sure these are kind of set correctly so I can kind of see them. If you want to lay out so we can see two things at once, I hit this button. And there's one down here that actually right here, there's a dual. So I'm going to just grab anything that has a 2 in here. That'll work. And then steal the bottom one to become the camera 1. Okay, can I get 6 on this one? There we go. I put it in high quality mode so I can see a little bit better. There we go. Now I can see just about all of them. Oop, this one's hiding. We'll say him right there. So this is a great way to test out this very complex shader. Alright, so that's the scene setup. Oh, one more thing we need to do is make a measure tool, distant tool. So what we need to do is go right up into the camera, and the camera is now way over there. So what I want to do is actually snap this to the grid because I need a straight path. So X on the keyboard, and then let go of X, and then click X again, and then I got my ruler. Okay. First grab your camera, then shift grab your locator, the first one, go into animation, go into constraint, and point constraint it to the camera. So now anytime I move the camera, the distant tool will automatically update. Okay. Now reposition the locator, the second one, into the center of this. So right about there. And I'm going to put it just above land here so I can kind of see it. It's a real small thing. These do not show up on the render, so if you need to, instead of going blind, let's upscale that one to 30. And there we go. That's the scene setup. Now we have to start building the shader to support the scene. I would say make sure you save. There we go. Alright, meet me in the next video.